Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Pull the Trigger podcast. I am joined today by my co-host Vigilante360 and a very sick Waffle sacrifice over there, so his voice is going to be a little drained today.
Just a little bit.
So, as we can see, Waffles has been sucking dick all week.
Like a pro.
Facts.
Like a pro.
And not getting paid for it either.
I never stop.
So something very exciting happened yesterday, and that was Vigilante doing his 12-hour stream for his 750, right? 750 viewers?
750 followers, yeah.
Yeah. And which he played many games, including Fortnite, Call of Duty, Galactic Phone, whatever it was. Gardic Phone. And then Words on Stream, and then you
Call of
did the
Duty
Toe of Satan.
Yes. Should we talk about the Toe of Satan now?
We should just go ahead and just get this out of the way first and foremost.
Okay, so the Toe of Satan, if you don't know what it is the hottest sucker or lollipop in the world, quote unquote, right? That's what they claim. It's 9 million Scoville. And for the people who are actually watching it, I have the box right here. It's right here. Look at that. That's the thing right there. 9 million Scoville. And you're supposed to keep it in your mouth for 5 minutes. I did complete the 5 minutes, but I will tell you that it was the worst 5 minutes of my life. I hated every fucking second of it.
Man, you were sweating. You were like tearing up, and you were trying not to touch your mouth and touch your... Yeah, you were drooling everything. I remember your wife coming up like, oh wow, your back is soaking wet.
I was just, it was bad. So it lulls you into a sense of false security, because when you first put it in your mouth, it just tastes like a cinnamon sucker. And you're like, oh, this is going to be easy. It's just cinnamon, right? Then the cinnamon goes away, and it is just pure pain and heat. And it gets worse as the time goes, and it's so bad. Your mouth starts filling up with saliva, and then you have to figure out if you want to spit it out or swallow it, but you don't know what to do because you're scared and you think your life is ending.
That was almost like the time I did the one chip challenge. But the worst part about it was I had to wear gloves the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I was like, I would put it in my mouth, and I started chewing. But the only difference was I knew, like, immediately right away it was just going to kill me. It wasn't like this
I
false
thought about
sense of
doing
security.
the one chip.
One chip I do not recommend. It fucked me up for a whole week.
I decided against the one chip when I saw reports of it killing a child.
Oh yeah, it was actually killing grown-ass adults too.
So I was like, nah, I probably shouldn't. I already have problems with...
I did not pass the challenge, but I still have the box.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'd keep it too. I'm not keeping that thing. I'm burning it. Start a fire and get rid of it.
At least the one chip, box is a little bit more novelty item.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably keep the box.
Jessica tried to do that at work one time. The blue box one or whatnot. She tried to do it at work.
I remember that.
Yeah, she was crying.
That was the dumbest thing I've seen somebody do at work.
Why would you do that at work?
Because she loves spicy shit. She'll eat like fucking ghost pepper ramen noodles for fun.
Ghost pepper's not that bad though.
No, it's like that one has Reaper and Scorpion on it, and it's just like, I think the one that they did blue, which was right after that one, had like another one on it.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the first time she did it. Apparently the first time she did it, she actually threw up and passed out.
So let's do it again. The first time went so well. Let's do it again.
Exactly.
I know.
God.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, fries short of a Happy Meal.
Yeah. Damn it. Like, common sense tells you not to do these challenges at work.
Right. Unless work, of course, is streaming.
I mean, yeah.
Then you're doing it at work.
Then you're doing it at work.
See,
Slaying.
I thought for sure that this wouldn't be that bad, right? Because it just says Carolina Reaper on the box, like that's what it is. Or in the description, it was like Carolina Reaper is what it is. Blah,
and
blah,
you've
blah,
had
blah,
like
blah.
the jelly beans and stuff like that, where it wasn't like that terrible.
And I've got these sauces, like the my hot sauces or whatever. Yeah. Like this one alone is Carolina Reaper, Trinidad Scorpion, and habanero all
Was it
in one
worse than
bottle.
that?
And it was worse than that, yes.
That is
So
insane.
I think there's more. I think there's more in it than just the Carolina Reaper. I think they probably, because Carolina Reaper on the Scoville unit is only like 1.2 million or something like that. So they had to put in like pure capsaicin to get it to that 9 million.
Yeah,
And that's where the pain comes from.
And see, a lot of the times what I've read is a lot of people that are that end up like dying or getting severely injured by the.
Did y'all hear that?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't. I guess I was talking, so I didn't hear it.
Something fell over, it sounded like.
Did it come from my headset? Or my microphone?
I don't know. This here is fucked up. So.
It sounded like a gunshot on my side.
Oh, it just sounded like something fell over, so,
Oh.
Oh, well.
Probably was you, because I didn't hear it. So, like, the people that end up, like, getting majorly hurt or die from it is the people who have, like, a unknown allergy to the capsaicin.
Mm-hmm.
And they just don't know about it because they never really had spicy things. So they go, you know what, I'm going to do this. And they end up, like, having an allergic reaction and just dying.
Right.
I didn't know there was actually an allergy to capsaicin until I met someone who was.
No, there's an allergy for everything.
Yep, I'm allergic to waffles. Oh, sorry.
I mean, there's people, ironically, that are allergic to water, which is, how do you live since your body's like 70% water?
Yeah, that...
There are people who are allergic to sunlight, too.
Those are called vampires.
They sparkle in the sunlight, remember? That's what Twilight taught me.
They're also, ironically, allergic to garlic.
Yeah.
And steak.
Ha!
Ha, ha, ha. Such a terrible thing. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about today, we filled out this whole entire list of things that maybe might be nice to just bring up and talk about in our podcast. And I think one of them was like the gaming and mental health, the good, the bad, and the addictive cycles. I think, honestly, like gaming and mental health goes hand in hand almost. In a way that it can be good, it can be bad, and you do get into like an addictive cycle of playing games just to block out everything that's outside of the real world.
So true. So very true. I use video gaming as my...
escape.
Not really an escape, but more of like my relaxation, Like that's how I relax after a nice long hard day at work or a nice long hard week at work. Fuck you, Waffle.
No, I can actually get that too because there's days where I work like up to 14 plus hours a day while I'm out on the truck and having to deal with everybody driving and all that, and I come home and I'm able to just play a game, just kind of shut my mind off and just get into
that's
this
what
like
it's all about.
mode of just getting in there. But then also like if things are going on in life that just aren't great, I just kind of put my head into the video games and just kind of like let it all go. Because I remember when my mom passed away, that was one thing that was like huge for me, is I just started gaming a lot and
Same.
just kind of didn't like, my wife was there, she was comforting and all that, but it was just kind of like one of those things like after the initial like week after it happened, it was kind of just like video games and just kind of just chilling, just trying not to think about
It helps you
things.
to stop think about it. Yeah, it helps you to stop thinking about it. I went through the same thing when my mom passed away, and then again when my little brother passed away, and video games helped me through both of those. But not only that, like video games are more like they're social, right? They bring people together, which was good because me and my older brother started gaming a ton together after those two events happened, and it's brought us a hell of a lot closer.
Right?
Yes, demo, yep. Which I tried to get him to join us today, but he won't answer me, so I think he might be at work, but that's okay. But yeah, and I think the video games helped him through a lot of it too, and helped me through a lot of it at the same time, because we were gaming together, we were, having that time together and talking about things and just escaping all of the bad and just having a good time. And I think that's really what video games are meant for, honestly. Like, I think that's what the whole point of it is. It's just to have a good time and escape from any issues or problems you may be having in life.
But also, like, immerse yourself into the story that's at hand if you're playing a story game.
Exactly.
Or if you're playing with just friends, like, just immerse yourself into the game to get yourself away from whatever's around you. I remember growing up, my mom and I actually lived in a hotel at one point. And it was kind of one of those things, whenever I got home, it was, like, in the middle of Birmingham, Alabama. It was terrible, like, city-wise, so, they didn't want any kids going outside playing and stuff like that where we were at. So it's kind of like, just stay home, play video games, and not really, chat with anybody else outside of, there. What about you, Waffles?
Pretty much the same, but I don't have any, real, close death-related reasons for it. It's nice to kind of, get away sometimes. You go to work, you do everything you're supposed to do, you come home, you do whatever you're supposed to do at home as well, and then you get, every night you get a few hours, and you're just going to play games, and just either be entirely different on the game, and you kind of just, relax and let everything go, or just, you kind of get a goof off and not really worry about anything else.
And then, I guess, with the whole, mental health thing, that could also go into the whole streaming, because I know, when you stream, it does take a mental toll on your health, too.
It does.
All that. Because whether you have a good stream or a bad stream, I mean, it still affects you in some way or another after you get off that go live button.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's something I guess I could put my input on. A few years ago, I don't know if it was my 19th birthday. I don't know if it was my 21st or 22nd birthday. I think 22nd birthday. I got off work and I came home or whatever, and my entire family that were busy that day. Like, Tristan had to go. I think he had a different job at the time. My mom was at work. My younger brother was spending time with his girlfriend. My dad was at work. My elder brother was at work. All of my friends had important stuff they had to do that day. So I was by myself on my birthday. So I was like, well, I don't want to be entirely alone. That sounds sad. So I started streaming. I was like,
that sounds sad.
It was a random day, and I had streamed the day before, something like that. So it wasn't scheduled to stream. So I just started doing it. I'm like, I got to do something on my birthday. I can't just be here by myself. I'll get sad.
I mean, I can get that, lately, I think as of, it's now been 2 years in a row, my buddies and I have gone either, floating, or went shooting guns, and that's what we've been doing for my birthday, but before that, it was just kind of I'll just play games with my wife, or go out and have a nice dinner, or go do something. I think my wife actually, she paid for us to go stay at a nice hotel, and then we went to, this place down in Branson, did, a golf cart tour through, caves and shit. It was kind of cool. It was, a really fun weekend. Going into, the addictive cycles, there was a point in my time whenever I was, still living with my mom, that games became kind of an addiction, to a degree. And it was still before, really, the big online stuff started happening. It was when GTA San Andreas was still on, and I was playing that nonstop, or Halo through all the campaigns and stuff like that. I didn't get as much internet time on games until later in life as some other people. So it wasn't until I think my senior year I really started playing online games. And so it did definitely get into an addiction.
Yeah.
In a way, because it's because I moved around so much, I didn't really I made friends, but they weren't friends. They were just
yeah.
I maybe have one or two that are still from high school that I talk to, but not fully just there. And so now, I did pick up a gaming habit of just playing games and stuff. There's times where I bought a game and I just sat there and I played it until I finished it, and it's probably the most unhealthy thing to do, but it was just I didn't have to work. Just sat there, played until it was all done.
That's fair.
the faces that Fidgy makes.
I just heard random noises in my headphones. It's okay.
Someone's clicking a pen.
Everything's fine. No, that was Fortnite telling me that I needed to stay active. Sorry. Yeah. Speaking of gaming addictions.
Speaking of gaming addictions. Someone's trying to grind the
out that
battle pass.
pass, you know what I'm
Yep, someone's
saying?
trying to grind the battle pass while doing a podcast. What a
Gotta
way
get
to...
them Tycoon XP points in there.
Exactly.
No. I mean, I agree with that though. Like, I think there's always going to be a game where you are more involved in it than you would have been otherwise, right? And there are times where a game will take over, and that's all you want to do. And yeah, it will become a little bit of an addiction kind of thing. But you really got to learn, like, unless you're living alone and like have nobody else, you need to like learn how to balance. If you have like I have a family, right? I have wife and 6 kids. I gotta learn how to balance that, right? There's got to be a good even distribution of time when it comes to that kind of stuff. So
I
you gotta
still
learn
have
how to balance it.
I still have problems with the balancing part sometimes, because there are times where I just kind of want to just like on weekends just shut off everything and just play games.
Yep.
And that's something I'm still learning with my wife and I. It's gotten better than it used to be. Definitely has, because I mean there was a point when everything was... We were, I think, still living with her parents, and they had bought me a new video game, and I think it was like the newest Call of Duty, and I wanted to play the campaign as soon as possible. And they were in there playing a family game of like Skyward Sword whenever that came out.
Yeah.
And I was still kind of freshly new here, so it kind of, I don't know how to put it. I didn't know how to feel about being with the family while that, and I just wanted to play my game. And I do remember that was a big issue for my wife and I, is because I didn't want to spend time with them, and I was just kind of immersed myself into the game.
Yeah.
But I also just like pick up and left all of my family, so it was kind of something.
You're still using as an escape from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
I mean, not to say that my family was great, because my family had some like issues, and I left for my mom being kind of, you know, in a way of saying that she was a bitch, you know. So it was kind of coming to a new, I guess, sense of world that I was going to be living in. Because it was kind of a big moving from Alabama all the way up to Missouri. So that was a big trip.
That's a big move.
Yeah. And that was actually at a young age, because I mean that was like back whenever I just got out of just shortly after high school, somewhat into college. So I was like 19, I think, at the time whenever I moved up here. So I mean that's been a chunk of change ago.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, I see that Slane's finally awake.
You saw that too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go into some like gaming friendships versus real life friendships. I think I've actually made some really good gaming friendships that have lasted longer than some of my real life friendships.
So for me, I've had the majority of my life being my gaming friends were my real life friends. Right? Up until recently, when I've started playing games with like the people from PBS, and now my gaming friends have turned into real life friends. Yeah. Right? So like
So
Ghosty's
like
a good example. Yeah, so Ghosty's a good example. Is I met him through PBS, we talked a little bit, and now we're like friends on Facebook, and we're talking pretty much every day, not just while we're gaming. I mean, we've been talking about him coming down to visit, or we going up there to visit, and it's just time, time, money, and whatever constraints that are stopping us from doing it. But yeah, and it's, I think it goes both ways. I think gaming friends, yeah, for real. I think gaming friends could be real life friends, given enough time and interactions with that person, and vice versa. Real life friends can be your gaming friends. I don't know if there's really that much of a difference besides the fact of not being able to see them in person and having that personal interaction with them.
And I get that, and that's totally a big like thing. Is a lot of people are like, oh, you don't get to see your like gaming friends. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that I like don't talk to them any less or like them any less because I don't see them. Because I remember seeing this post and it was like done up. I think it was on Facebook, and you guys have probably seen it. It's like or a wife of somebody. Their best gaming friend died, and they all played games for like the whole day, drank and all that. And she was like, "If you don't count that as friendship, I don't know what you will." And they were all just like reveling and remembering all the good things with that person that they were gaming with. Especially after they found out that they passed away, and it was just like, wow, what a way to remember somebody to play their favorite games and just drink and share good, memories.
Agreed. Waffle input?
Yeah.
He's gonna be quiet today because he's sick, so it's fine.
Hey, fuck you, okay?
Try not to make him talk too much, but he still has to, be involved.
I'm gonna. All right. So a lot of my like real life friends, we're in high school and everything. No, because I had to move too much in my early life. So in high school is where I really made most of my friends, and I had I'm pretty extroverted after a little bit. Like, it takes me a minute to get used to a situation, but I made a lot of friends during high school. However, since moving from there, since I haven't kept that like face-to-face like value that friendships sometimes require, I haven't talked to 90% of them. I still talk to Chance and Nathan, and then they both have a small friend group that I will sometimes interact with, but that's about it for IRL friends. But they're also my gaming friends now. Whereas on mine, after joining PBS and branching out and talking to a whole bunch of people, I have a solid handful or two of people that I'm like, hey, would you want to play games or something? And usually they'd be like, yeah, sure, I'm free now, here, then, where, or whatever. And we can just start playing games. So I feel like with gaming friends or whatnot, there's not that pressure of you have to be there. You have to be like showing your face and you go out and do something. You can kind of just be like, hey, want a game? Whereas real life friends, they like, if you don't go out and do something, you kind of just stop talking and they start to peter out or whatnot, and you just kind of stop. I'm not going to say stop being friends, just because, sometimes people are low maintenance, they don't expect that, but they still consider you their friend. But you just slowly stop talking till it's been years. Like, I've talked to 2 friends, and it's been 4 years since the last time I talked to them. Other than those 2, and Chance and Nathan, I haven't talked to anyone from high school at all.
And kind of going into that, my 2 friends that I still kept from high school, I message them like once in a blue moon. One of them, I have a 50-50 chance of even responding. The other one, he'll normally respond, but it's usually, I don't know how to put it. He's like, we'll talk for like maybe a couple hours and then it's just gone. Don't talk for a while again.
Yeah, well, that's also part of why I didn't want to say you just don't become friends anymore. Like, you're still friends with them. It's just you don't ever talk to them. Whereas a gaming friend, you are more likely to talk to because you guys game. You can be like, hey, we have this in common. I'm playing this game. If you have it, we want to join.
Right.
Kind of like Wild's coming out. It's going to get, like, every person I play games with is really into Monster Hunter. So when Wilds comes out on Friday, everyone's going to be playing that game. That I know that game's a whole bunch. Aside from, like, you two, because I don't know if you guys like Monster Hunter or not.
I played some of it. I haven't played a whole lot.
I
honestly.
haven't played much of them. I don't think I've actually played any of Monster Hunter.
It's kind of fun.
World.
It's kind of fun.
World was the last one I played, so.
I think it's going to be great just because I get it for free because of PlayStation's sharing. But
stealing games is what that is.
Yeah,
as long as like the PlayStation Network doesn't go down like it did forever.
Right, for 24 hours or whatever. Yeah, I forgot what we were talking about. Sorry.
real life and gaming friends.
Oh yeah, so you had mentioned high school friends, and that brought me to like my next thing is like I have friends that I haven't talked to in months now. I talk to more of my online friends than I do my real life friends half the time.
Yeah.
Like I have a best friend who I pretty much went through all of high school with, and we've been friends ever since. Like he messages me every once in a great while, but like we don't game together. He's not a gamer, so it's a different kind of friendship between us. Like he'll message me when he has something important going on in his life, or vice versa. You know, we'll share stories and stuff like that. But it's not like it is with, let's say, like you guys, where, well, Waffle, you're different. You're a real life friend too, but like you and me, Stubbinz, like we'll talk in game, or we'll talk now more
Right.
than more than I do with him.
Right.
Right? So I talk to you almost daily, whether it be through typing out or actually voice chatting like we are right now.
Right.
But him, it's a text, you know, once a month, maybe every 2 months, whenever something important happens or something like that. So there is a difference when it comes to real life friends versus in-game friends, for sure, because real life friends, you will have those gaps in your communication. It's just part of life. Whereas online friends, if you're playing games every day, you're going to talk to those people every day.
Well, that brings up the question. What would you guys consider to be, like, for example, like Vigilante, me and you, we met real life first, but we game we don't really game together that much, but we are online a lot, talking to each other and whatnot. So in that case, would you say that would make me a real life friend or a gaming friend? Same thing with like Mr. Stubbinz. We met him online, but if let's say for whatever reason he starts working with us,
Yeah.
and we start talking more in real life than we do online, would that make him more of a real life friend or a gaming friend?
So I think for you specifically, I would consider you a real life friend, even though we game together. Just because we don't game enough together to make you a gaming friend, but we do see each other every day and we bullshit every day. That I think that's a real life friend. Now, if Stubbinz were just to happen to come in and start working with us, right, then he would eventually become a real life friend, but still a gaming friend. They go hand in hand, honestly.
Which I have
I don't
invited
think
Fidgy out to come hang out
Yeah,
with me.
but that 6-hour trip is
Not worth it.
daunting. I didn't say it wasn't worth it, but it's daunting.
Would you say one has more value than the other?
No, absolutely not.
We may be actually having our first guest on the podcast in a second.
Oh yeah.
Did you DM that link to him?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I was getting ready to.
So I got to pull up our guest questions here. As soon as they join. But until then, we'll keep this going. So, you know, going from that, you know, from having like real life friends, gaming friends, you know, I really don't see a difference. The only difference is how much you actually really hang out with them, whether it be virtual or in person. Whereas like my real life friends, you know, right now are people I like work with, and gaming friends are people I either talk to daily or game with.
Oh, I guess like the second part of that question was which one lasts longer? And I just erased it, so if you go back to look at it, you won't be there anymore.
Yeah, I just saw that, you dick.
We answered it. I took it off the list. Anyways, so it says which one lasts longer. It really depends. Like I said, I have friends that I haven't talked to in years that are real life friends that I went to high school with. But does that make them any less of a friend? It really depends on our next interaction together. Right? How much have they changed? How much have you changed? Do you still coexist with each other? Do you still click? Do you still have that same chemistry that you did before? Online friends, it's a little different. If you're playing with them daily, that chemistry is going to drastically change dynamically over time. I think that both of you your energies are going to change, and you guys are going to know more about each other. I would say, honestly, if you have some really close online friends, those would last longer than real life friends. If you're a gamer. If you're a gamer. This is very dependent on that.
Yeah.
I think it heavily depends on the character of the friend. Because, like, you can have a really cool friend or whatnot, but if there's some subject that you guys are going to disagree on, and it causes a great big fight or whatever, that could end up making it so that way you guys are just not friends ever again.
True.
Because, like, I've seen some people who are, like, for example, now, I'm not going to get into politics, but politics is a big one for some people that stop being friends with other people because of that.
Politics and religion, honestly, are the two things that,
Right.
like, I will not bring up on the podcast, but I will agree those are the two subjects that usually make or break people's, like, friendship. And I remember whenever I was a kid, that didn't matter. You agreed to disagree, and you were still friends. But, like, this whole new generation comes in, and it's like, you either have to be this or not at all. And it kind of drives me nuts on that part. But I'm not going to get into that because I'm not going to bring this because I feel like those two subjects are the worst things that bring down a podcast.
Like I said, I didn't really want to get into it, so we're not going to really talk about them. But those can change. That was a cough. Thanks, though. Those two subjects can really quickly end a friendship. So it depends on the character. The more like you they are, the less likely it is to end. But also like for example, I'm not going to end a friendship over any one subject that I can think of, just because they disagree with me.
Yeah.
At all. But some people, like the jarhead from work, I'm sure any subject that he disagrees with can end a friendship.
It took me a second to figure out who you're talking about.
I find it funny that you're like the jarhead from work, and I know that Vigi used to be in the military, so I'm like, wait a minute.
Not a jarhead, though. I was a grunt.
You were a grunt.
I'm trying
I was Army.
I'm trying not to say too many names.
Right, no, I mean, because podcasts, because, that's a whole different, can of worms we don't want to open up.
Him and Captain Seal, I'm sure, would just end a fucking friendship real fast over it. But like, if it's a more decent person, they'll probably be your friend for years with no issues. Well,
that really does. Personality matters.
I will say, with a real life friend, if you go long stints of not talking, it all depends on if you consider them a friend. Because you can just say, oh yeah, they're not my friend, we haven't talked in a long time. But if you do, you could be friends and they'll be dead for a month and you won't know. So they would have a longer lasting friendship. It depends on how you look at it.
Oh,
shit. Look at this.
We're getting in our first guest.
As soon as he fixes his camera, we'll be all good.
Mic, camera, everything.
Ain't nothing for me to fix. I just click buttons.
You need to turn on your camera.
Yeah, you'll have to have your camera turned on.
Do you have your OBS open?
No.
Okay, no. So you should just be able to click the camera under the camera settings or which one it is. So.
It goes back to the first episode of Technical Stupidity.
It always comes back to that.
Is there something covering the camera?
I should probably hide those. Let me get those out of the camera. I didn't realize it would go that big of a picture when we went into 4.
Yeah, that is actually kind of crazy that it drug it out even more.
Turn off the camera while recording, but you can't switch cameras.
So which means you have to leave, turn your camera on, and then come back.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could do it without a camera. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I don't care.
But
it doesn't matter.
But then we can't say, haha, bald.
I'm way too pretty.
We can't see that big, beautiful face of yours.
Way too pretty not to be on camera. So how do I leave? Just close it?
Should be a leave button at the very bottom. It's a red phone.
Okay, I'll be back.
So it's funny. It'll cut me off if we're at 3.
Yeah.
But it'll expand it if we're at 4.
But hey, you fixed it for 3, right? I have not seen
fixed it
half of your face all podcasts. So there it is. There it is.
Luckily, mine's centered with me.
So as some people may have heard, we're going to have our first guest on the podcast today. It's going to be Slain Infinity, right?
Slain Infinity 304.
304, and one of the things you were telling me about, he is actually a single dad who streams for a living?
Yes. Yep, indeed. Which is actually good for one of the questions we have on our list, which I'm gonna make sure he answers for us.
But also kind of maybe a good way to like go along with what we were talking about today with the whole like highs and lows of gaming and the addiction to playing games, maybe even just getting away from everything, because I'm sure things are probably a little bit more.
So, for a little bit of context, Slain Infinity is a real life friend of mine, and maybe Waffles. I don't know if they're real life friends. They've had their issues.
That was only work related. If it wasn't during work, when we weren't butting heads because of work, I think everything was fine. So I would say we're friends. We're just not good coworkers.
But me and Slain have been friends for 10 plus years. So, I've known him for a while. I'm sure that he's got some stories. We may have to rein him in a little bit on some of his stories.
Well, I don't think he can get in too much trouble in like 30 minutes.
Well, you'd be surprised.
You don't know
It's
his...
Slain.
Yeah, I mean, I walked into his stream after being with Ghosty, and he was like in a GIMP mask.
Uh-huh. Slane's a character for sure.
I bet you he said he bought it recently, too. Motherfucker's had his whole life.
It was custom made on the back. It actually has Slain Infinity on the back. You know?
It's embroidered. There he is.
There he is. Slain
That's what I'm
Infinity
talking about.
304.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good
Welcome
morning.
to the podcast.
Are we talking
So
about Pokemon?
Yep.
No, but that's one of the questions we start with.
Yep, because from now on, anytime we have a guest onto the podcast, we have to ask them what is their favorite Pokemon.
This could be the shortest visit on your podcast ever.
It's another Waffle situation. He's never played Pokemon.
Is it really?
I can't.
Well, it's understandable because he's old and bald.
Wow. All right. Thanks for having me.
Oh, God. Okay,
Well,
so then we'll
like-
go into the next question. What's your favorite game?
Oh, my favorite game right now is Phasmo.
Oh,
I play the
Yeah.
I hate that game.
Phasmo's good though. I like playing
I
it
hate
in
it so
VR.
much.
Is this
Fuck that.
is this a mature rating podcast?
To an extent, yes.
To an
There are-
extent.
I just told him, I just got done telling him that during some of the questions and stories of yours, we may have to rein you back a little bit.
Well, just
Just a little.
Just
Well,
little
what
stuff.
sucks is we have to keep it within a certain thing because we are on YouTube also. YouTube's a little bit more.
I'm just saying,
strict.
like swear words. Like I was gonna say.
Swear words are
I
fine.
played the
Swear
shit
words are
out of
fine.
Phasmo.
Yeah, swearing
Yeah.
is fine, but some of the conversations about your
So is my shirt okay?
past endeavors.
Is that all right or?
Well, I guess we'll find out.
I guess we'll find out. This may be the last episode of the podcast, guys. If that's so, I'm glad to have done it with you.
Just don't draw attention to it.
I can't.
Yeah, just don't.
I can't move up far enough for the picture not to be there.
So, Vigi, since Slain is, you said you're a real life friend, we'll let you do the whole interview for this one.
Okay.
From
So
the
we want me to go
just-
through the guest questions, and then we'll get into the actual question.
Yep.
So I guess the next question would be: how long have you streamed, played video games, or made videos or whatever?
Oh, I played video games longer than you guys have been alive.
That's fair.
That's not really a
That-
joke. There's no
So
reason
for
why.
I mean, he was
years.
around when the first one came out, so
my Twitch affiliate anniversary is April 9th, so
let's go.
I am right on the edge of a year of streaming.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
I would ask the next question, but I already know why you joined the podcast, so we're not going to ask that question because I begged you to do it.
Yeah.
I was awake and I answered the call.
Yeah, right? So what got you started in content creating?
You?
I knew that answer. I asked that purposely.
Okay, so let's elaborate on that though.
I-
So,
Yeah,
why
break
was
down
it
a little
Vigi?
So me and Vigi met working together. Originally became friends by being co-workers / subordinate. And then,
That doesn't count.
And then I ended up being his subordinate. So it, goes around, comes around.
Full circle.
So he was streaming. You've been streaming what, over 3 years now?
Yep. Yep.
So I spent a good year and a half or so dedicating my life to buying games I can't afford and playing them in vigilante streams.
That's so true.
No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that one. Shut up.
I heard that was a big flop. I never got to play it, but I'm
Oh
wondering.
no, it's such a good game.
I heard it was $60 and we streamed it once.
It was a massive
It
flop.
was
but
a huge
became
flop when it started.
a good game.
But
I heard
they,
that the
they've
updates have made it
listened.
better.
They've listened to their community, and they've listened to everybody's complaints, and turned that game around to one of the best games that I've ever played.
Without me.
Just once.
With you, just once time with you.
Just once time on stream, yeah.
I've played it a bunch without you, but that's besides the point.
Wow.
Oh shit. Okay. So story behind your gamer tag.
Good night. I have built a persona, mostly through Vigi streams, of the guy who can't stay alive. The guy who dies the easiest and the quickest, and it just became a thing, and I adopted it and I grew with it. I'm not nearly as bad at video games as sometimes perceived.
Not anymore, no.
Hey, last night you broke that. You know, you actually won it by trying to buy me back. Fortnite.
So so the Slain Infinity just...
I think it's a great name.
I messed around with different stuff, and the fact that a person can die an unlimited number of times seemed to fit the persona that I built.
And I
Makes
love
a lot.
it. I
And
love
the
it.
304 is area code I grew up in.
There you go.
Fantastic. So we talked about today. We started the podcast with what did we start with?
It was the video games and mental health, good, bad,
Okay.
and the addictions of video games.
Yeah. So when it comes to video games and mental health and all that, how would you say that video games have helped or hindered your mental health in any way, shape, or form?
Well, in my personal situation, and I don't know, at least one or two of you, I don't know if Stubbinz knows my story at all,
I've heard bits and pieces.
from June 22nd or June of 22 to August of 23, I lost my older brother, my father, and my grandfather. 14 months.
Oh, wow.
Then in April of last year, lost my mind. I had a nervous breakdown because I didn't get to deal with any of that, supporting the family through all of that. So video games for me is very helpful because I leave reality. I can't say that the personality you see on stream isn't me, but it might be elevated to a level of entertainment. It lets me leave the reality of all the important men in my life are gone. I'm the old dude in the family now. I don't want to be the old dude.
Yeah.
I'm only 36. I don't want to be the old guy.
36, whatever. Flop those numbers around. You're a little bit closer.
He's been 36 for 70 years.
Yeah. I'll be 48 in July. But for me, video games has been a way to. They've always been a way to escape. My first marriage went to crap. I played World of Warcraft. I maxed a character in like 3 weeks because I used it to escape the unhappiness.
Yep.
So they've always been something for me to help control the negative aspects.
And to kind of get for some people who don't know World of Warcraft, how many levels is a max level on that game?
Well, back then it was 60 or 65. It's
Which I'm sure takes quite a bit with it being an
100.
MMO.
It's 100 and something now, I think, but because we're talking
So
about
going off of that, though, so we also talked about gaming addiction and that kind of, what was it, gaming addiction and how it affects real life or whatever.
Yeah.
So you said you maxed out characters on World of Warcraft. Would you consider that a gaming addiction?
No, because as soon as I got divorced, I never played Warcraft again.
Well,
That's fair.
It was something I didn't go back to.
Are there times where you play games, though, and you feel like maybe I'm playing this a little too much? Maybe it is kind of like an addiction because you're just being drawn into it because you're wanting to escape the reality of what's going on?
For me, the streaming is the addiction.
Oh,
I sit.
see, we didn't touch on that one.
I
No.
have days where I sit at this PC and I tell myself, shut it down, do your fucking laundry. Shut it down, go to the grocery store. Your kids are locked out of the house, you should probably get up. But for me, it's the streaming. It's the uploading clips. It's redoing my overlays. It's adding new triggers. It's all the stuff that goes into building what we do. I sometimes have to give myself that mental slap in the face and be like, wait a minute, you got sponsorabilities.
Sponsorability. I don't want sponsorability.
So video games I can walk away from, but the streaming has become something that I make sure I balance with real life.
So I think Vigi has
Good
talked about...
segue.
Good segue. But I think Vigi has actually talked about the... you actually just stream for a living, right?
Right now I do.
Recently
Yeah.
took
So
that on, yeah.
How is that affecting your mental with having to make sure that you stream and be on time and be there for people to bring them back to you?
Oh, it's a challenge. It's something that you worry about it. I mean, compared to my, factory job I had, it's more stressful. So, the factory job was get there at 7 and pack their little plastic parts for 12 hours. But
I mean, yeah, because like whenever you have a regular like 9 to 5 job, you're just like you wake up, you start at this time, you get done whenever you're done, and then you go home and you get paid for it. Streaming, it's one of those things you have to wake up and you have to have that same energy that you went in with the
Yep.
last stream.
yeah,
You
if
have to
if
keep
you fall
people
asleep on your
coming back.
couch and you miss a stream, then you wake up to 15 DMs and are you dead? Where are
I did
you?
that the other day.
So
Yeah, no, real life jobs become a routine, whereas streaming you have to make sure that it's ever evolving, ever changing, keeping up with the times. I agree that streaming is a more stressful job rather than a real job, because again, a real job becomes routine, but streaming is constantly changing.
and it's more hours.
It is
Yeah.
more
When
hours.
you
Yeah.
add
It,
Because it's not just the stuff you see on camera; it's all the stuff that I was
No,
just
there's
talking
so
about.
much behind
No.
the scenes.
With all the
because you have to make your TikToks, you have to make YouTube shorts, you have to make
right.
videos everywhere else, you have to make content everywhere else. You have to get your name out there, because if you don't get your name out there, you're not going to grow. Like right now,
But
that's
not
where
only
I'm-
that, but you have to also worry about updating everything, making sure that your overlays are up to date, or making sure your OBS is up to date, all your games are up to date, all of that good stuff that keeps your stream running. Like the shit, now I lost my
words
word.
are hard.
Yeah, words are very hard. The TikTok and stuff like that, getting your name out there, is not. I don't think is as important. It is important, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it is as important as making sure that your content is up to date or up with the times when it comes to your content creation.
Oh yeah, the live streams where it's at. You can manipulate the clips, and you
Yeah.
can edit them to look a certain way, and you can add music to them, and you can make them what you want. But
Yeah.
when you turn that camera on,
Then you're live.
You're either a superstar or you're not.
Exactly. You have to make sure you're on it.
Right.
If you come to stream with a I'm tired, this stream's going to be real laid back kind of thing. Some people can get away with that. Some people can do laid back. I'm going to just sleep on streams.
Kinda like
But
Waffles
there
is
are
now
other
on the
people.
podcast.
Yeah. He ain't said anything in like a half an hour. But then you'll have the other people like, and I want to say all of us that are here right now, all of us except for Waffle because he hasn't streamed in 4 years, we have to be on it, right? We're still small streamers. We have to make sure that everybody's entertained. We have to give them that entertainment to keep bringing them back. We have to put in that extra
Exactly.
effort to make sure that people come back.
'Cause
These
see,
bigger
now-
streamers don't put in as much effort because they already have that community built. They already have people that are going to come back daily because they like who they are as a person.
And us as small streamers, we have to fight to get those people back to our stream.
We do, yeah. We have
And
put in
like
a lot of effort.
right now, I'm experiencing a lull where like I'll stream and there's maybe only like a handful of people in there. And now I'm trying to reevaluate my situation. Like, all right, what can I do better to make my streams better for everybody else that want to keep coming back? And I'm also now into the point where I need to start making maybe more content to get my name out there a little bit more. Because I've already hit affiliate, that whole hype is up and it's now starting to fall. Now I've got to figure out what to bring back up the hype to bring.
There's always
more
that
viewers
initial
back in.
hype right before affiliation, right? You put in that so much extra work to get to that affiliation, and then once you get it, then it is like, okay, what next? What do I do now to keep that rolling?
Yeah, and you can never forget that, like, being, like, talking in Discords or going to other people's Twitches and their streams or whatnot, like, networking, supporting other people, and just making friends is always a good way. Not to make people keep coming back, but just getting more and more people to come in gives you a better chance at least some of them wanting to come back daily.
Oh, absolutely.
So just, like, you gotta always be able to talk and make friends or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting affiliate was
Networking
easy.
is important.
Affiliate was easy compared to growth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%. 100%.
Before affiliate though, you think affiliate's like the hardest fucking thing in the world, and then it's like once you hit affiliate, you're like, okay, that was actually easier than I thought it was, and then now it's to keep it going.
Well, when you pay attention to the people that are trying to help you, and you make affiliate in say 8 days, it doesn't really seem that hard.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Well, I mean,
Yep.
there's some people like who do it in 8 days, and it was like people like me who were streaming for like 6 years with bad internet and everything else, and I finally got it after 6 years.
That's a different situation, though, right?
Yeah.
You were under a different set of constraints.
Yep.
Different
The people that he's talking about, and I know exactly what he's talking about because we mentioned this several times in the podcast before, but we're part of a community called Potato Bomb Squad, and
Not sponsored.
we're all never mind. All four of us, I should say, are moderators. In that, well, I'm admin, but that's still moderator.
He's over us.
Look at
His
me.
dick's just hanging in front of our
Look at me,
face.
look at me. I'm an admin.
Bow down. But no. I mean, we've all done our part to reach out to these smaller people, these smaller streamers that are trying to get affiliation, and half of them will not take our advice, and then they will complain about it. They'll complain, why aren't we getting affiliated? Why aren't we affiliated yet? I joined this community to get affiliation. That's fine. But if you don't take our advice and you don't listen to the people that have done it before, you're not going to get anywhere.
That's just like we have that meeting here a little bit after our podcast
About a
is
half
over.
hour from now, yeah.
Yeah, we have that meeting, and we'll probably talk about the same things we did last time. You gotta talk in the community. You gotta make friends with the other people.
Yeah.
And I mean,
networking is so huge in the streaming community.
It really is, and like a lot of people think they can just come in, get affiliate, and that's it. And that's all they gotta do. It's like no, you've
it's
got
way more
to keep
than that.
getting your feet in there.
It kind of feels like everyone, or not everyone, but a lot of people who are coming in are trying to come in and like be the face of Potato Bomb Squad or PBS. They're trying to be the face of it, and they're like, so why is no one being here? Like, there's so many people here, but there's no one in my stream. It's like, we don't have a face. We're not all for you. We're all for each other.
Exactly.
And we need
Slain
some.
is the
and
face.
Having a face requires some hairs, so it can't be slain.
Bearded for your pleasure. That's why we change podcast. to
Whether it's
bearded for your
combable or not, it's still hair.
it's still there.
That's fair. That's fair.
And since we're on YouTube and you told me to behave, I won't show you the actual hairy parts of my body. Let's
Jesus
continue.
Christ.
I will.
No.
Okay, so the
Waffles.
one last thing I want to touch on, because this was actually a big thing about this podcast in particular, is real life friends versus gaming friends. Which relationship do you think is stronger, and which relationship do you think is going to last longer?
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It is a
But
tough one.
we touched on it, like, and I've said that I have gaming friends that are more of a friend to me in the way of definition of friend than I do real life friends, and vice versa.
You have to look at the gaming friends in a couple different ways, though, because I have Stubbinz, Shadow, Dragon, these are men that I would go meet if they said, "Hey,
Yeah.
let's set up a weekend halfway." I think we have a blast hanging out in real life. These are people I would go see. And then there are people that fucking across the ocean. We have friends in New Zealand.
Yep.
They're not comparable. I'm never going to go to New Zealand.
Yeah.
You know,
but when it comes to
me,
distance, though, is that really a problem?
But if I shut this,
when it comes to
if I
gaming
shut this
friendship.
PC off and I never turn it on again, I'm still friends with Vigi, Waffle, Lexon, because they're in real life people. If I shut this PC off and quit streaming, I may never talk to Stubbinz again. I may never talk to Shadow.
Oh no! I'll make sure you still talk to me.
Well, see, I brought up
making a point, Stubbinz. Shush.
I brought that up kind of myself because, let's say, like I took for example Ghosty, right? Ghosty started out as just a person I met online and talked to every once in a while, but now we talk on Facebook. We talk on. I mean, we send TikToks to each other.
Right.
We've talked about meeting in real life. That Ghosty has become more of a friend than a gaming friend.
Yeah.
But still a gaming friend in the sense that, you know, that's how we met. That's what we do together. We game together.
Right.
But
That's how you hang out.
I think you have three categories of friends. Though, is what I'm saying is you are Vigilante's an in real life friend, Waffles an in real life friend. Then you transfer to all three of you are gaming friendships. Then you have the third category of folks I know. I don't want to make it sound degrading or less than it is, but you have the people that you don't answer a Discord 10 minutes out of bed and say, "Fuck yeah, I'll be on a podcast."
Yeah, right?
You know what I'm saying? So when I said I
you have
wasn't dressed
acquaintances.
yet, it's because I had just gotten out of bed and sat down on my PC. Like,
Well, we appreciate you.
I haven't had
we
my-
appreciate you.
I haven't had a real cigarette yet this morning because I wasn't going to smoke on your podcast. It's that close to me getting up.
He wears a lot more makeup.
You do that for some. Yeah, normally
And a
this
gimp
is
mask.
not as shiny. I was looking for that. I don't know where I put it.
Couldn't find his buffer.
It's between your mattresses.
Oh no,
It's bad.
here it is over here. These are the kind of things you have to do when you're.
Oh no! Is this even going to be like
When
okay
when
for
your community-
YouTube?
It should be fine.
When your community is disturbed, as mine is, you wear things like this on stream.
Yeah, it's true.
That's
done.
why you have that.
But that's why I have that one.
That one.
I wasn't gonna cut ear holes in my good ones. Listen, I've built a persona online, not only of the guy who gets slain, but I'm very adult. I'm 48 years old.
It's true.
I've lived it. I've
Yeah.
done it. I've imagined it. And if I'm on a platform where I'm allowed to talk about it, you don't have to like it. And you're.
I mean,
and
no,
you don't
and
have
that-
to.
that's just-
You don't have to be there. But I've built a community of 415 followers. I'm averaging 12 people a stream, who like the fact that I joke about my butt plug collection, and that I talk about my personal life, and that I
And
wear.
you gave Vigilante your personal
t-shirts
favorite
that-
butt plug last night to suck on as a sucker.
Right. So I've built that.
So we talked about that too, and it was bad.
You know, that's how my personality developed into an online character.
And you know, it just kind of goes into the fact of like, you know, if people are coming into your stream, they either like you or you don't.
Right.
They have
Yeah.
to take you as you
Yeah.
are. And kind of like we talked in the past, you gotta be you. And if you're not you,
Yeah,
you're
you
just
can't.
out there just being some like thing, whenever you finally are you, they're not gonna like that. If you're just
And the
gonna be
best
someone
part,
that-
this is what I can say about Slane. Knowing Slane for 10 plus years now, what you see on camera, like he said, is just slightly elevated to what he is really like
Because
in
it's,
real life.
because it's entertainment here.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, because
So
you have to
elevate
be the entertainment.
The loudness and the reactions, and you have to embellish because it's entertainment.
Exactly.
But I is who I is,
You is,
and
yes.
Yes.
you know, like it or not, people come in. You know, I'm on a track for 500 followers. I really wanted to hit it by the end of my 1 year affiliate anniversary. I probably won't. It's a big number, 85 more followers in 6 weeks is huge. But that being said, I'm at 415. I was just at 418.
Yeah.
People come in, they follow, and then they're like,
And then they leave.
this dude's talking about his sex life. I don't want to hear that. That's okay. You don't have to hear that. Go. You can go.
That's right. It's not for everybody.
There-
Not every content is
There
for
are
everybody.
calmer people. There's calmer streamers. There's religious streamers. There's
There's a streamer out there
something
for everybody.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, each of us probably have something that we bring to the table that the other person doesn't. So, it's like we have our own views of everything except for Waffles because he has to stream like 4 years. But
Right, and I'm pretty.
Well, and you got
Yeah,
little, and Stubbinz got little.
okay, so
purple
what I've
hearts.
been told, okay, Vigilante, what I've been told, you have a soothing voice, and some people
Oh,
can't
really?
listen to the podcast at work because they might fall asleep because they enjoy listening to your voice.
I do have a nice soothing voice. You're right.
Or you're boring and they fall asleep because you're.
No, I was told it was
Says the
actually-
guy who hasn't talked in a half an hour. Be quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Shut
know.
up, peasant.
Listen, I would talk more, but every time I do, it hurts. Fuck you.
Yeah, our Waffles is sick. Slane, you need to go,
So-
He's not sick.
I do want to just throw it out there, okay? I personally, I know we're getting close to the end of the podcast now, and we got to actually start getting ready for this meeting that we just talked about. But I want to throw it out there because Slane is a friend of mine. If you are listening to the podcast or you're watching the podcast and you're on Twitch, go check out Slane Infinity 304. Tell your friends, tell your family. Let's make a concerted effort to push him to that 500 by April.
oh yeah.
But that's got to be.
And then also, I'm
that's
trying
got
to
to be
push...
all three of us though.
Oh
Because
yeah.
Yeah,
We got.
that's true.
We're doing the
That's
July
true.
birthday thing. Vigi's
Yeah,
on track
that's
for
true.
1,000.
Stubbinz is trying to get to
Stubbinz is trying to
500.
get to 5 with me.
And
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to 1,000. We're trying to do
Right.
like a big party on
And
Twitch. It'll be great.
If Waffles ever fucking streams for one time,
I
we might
promise,
actually be good.
as soon the Monday following my voice getting better,
Oh
I
God,
will
quit
stream.
talking. Never mind. We're sorry. Never mind. Stream when you can. Just stop talking.
But I do want to say, Slane, thank you so much for coming in on
Yes.
short notice
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
the
short
podcast.
notice.
We didn't
It
really
was
give you any
actually
time
kind
to
of-
actually prepare.
We'll definitely
which-
have to have you back on another time.
And next time I'll wear
and actually
pants.
have a real,
Next time I'll wear
like,
pants.
We don't believe
and maybe we'll
that.
maybe next time we'll shoot you a list of questions so you can kind of get prepared for it.
Oh, I don't know. That's no fun.
Sometimes
You like it
off
just
the cuff
being
it's
thrown
not
at
bad.
Oh yeah, blindside me. I love
Okay,
it.
then let's just throw it at you. Maybe
Yeah,
the more
uh,
important questions we'll throw at you, and then the side questions we'll kind of
Yeah,
just throw at you.
The more important ones we'll send you ahead of time.
I
and,
take
like, the
joy.
ones-
I take joy in trying to answer spontaneously / politely.
Well, also
Well-
kind of goes hand in hand with streaming because you're gonna have
Yeah, oh,
times
yeah.
where people are asking you questions in your chat, so you're gonna have to be off the cuff most of the time.
For sure. But there are going to be some deeper, more involved questions that I think would be better if you have time to prepare a little bit.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, we have like
So-
a whole entire list which we're slowly starting to go through, and we're gonna have to add more
Mm-hmm.
eventually as it goes. And some of them are really deep. Like we have a couple questions on there that are gonna be a whole episode just questions.
They're going to be just one question is going to be an entire episode. So we've got some good questions on there.
And I have an opinion about everything. So
Just
That's
like
true.
Everybody, he has an asshole. An opinion.
can be. I'm honest to a fault.
But honesty is not a bad thing. Honesty to a
Nope.
fault, yes, but it's not a bad thing. It's just
No.
what people
I
don't
prefer
want.
honesty.
They don't want to hear it, but they know it's true, and that's why it hurts.
Right.
Yep.
Well, I enjoy you guys having everybody on here for the podcast. If you'd like, follow us on YouTube and Spotify, and then also Slane Infinity 304 on Twitch, Vigilante 360 on Twitch. Waffles Sacrifice eventually, whenever he gets me his shit, will be on Twitch. And then you can also follow me at Mr. Stubbinz on Twitch.
I sell canned koozies.
You sell can koozies? Master of 69.
Hell yeah.
All right,
That's
thanks
awesome.
you guys.
Thank y'all for watching.
Hey, thanks for
Yes,
having
thank
me.
you for
Great
watching.
podcast.
We'll see you guys next time.